Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Tom and I are back with you on this special Wednesday. Plenty to talk about. I'm going to get Tom all fired up with some Jim Cornette. Brock Lesnar's in the news. Tommaso Ciampa, Jordan Grace. WWE Championship changes hands weeks before WrestleMania. Right move, wrong move, we shall see. All that plus more. Catch you on the other side. Did I click it? I thought I clicked it. Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
I'm gonna be cursed from now on. Cursed.
How great's Danhausen been?
Amazing. It's been like 3-minute long segments. Every one of them, I'm like, this is great. And if you look, it's like him, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso just selling all the t-shirts. It's a pretty
well, I guess they trotted him out on SmackDown during a commercial break, and he was like, "Buy all my t-shirts, give me all your monies, or I will curse you."
He called T-shirt boy over to the ring. I saw the clip. T-shirt boy. It's like, oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah, very entertained.
Feels like Danhausen to WWE is a match made in heaven. Despite
he hasn't
the
even
early
had to take a bump yet.
No. And I mean, he may not. I'm assuming they didn't hire him for his in-ring ability.
He's not a bad wrestler.
He's not. I'm not saying that he is at all.
But I think really, him versus like a bunch of characters in AAA would be money.
Well, you said a couple of weeks ago that him and Mr. Iguana, I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh my God, that feud would be like, I would purposefully seek out AAA every single week to watch that feud specifically.
Danhausen, I think even Kevin Nash approved of Danhausen, and Kevin Nash doesn't approve of anything.
Oh, Kevin Nash hates everybody.
Yeah. Just his old crotchety self. Just back in my day, we used to have to walk 15 miles through the snow and then set up the ring, wrestle maybe twice, tear down the ring, and then walk 15 miles to the next town in the snow barefoot.
Carrying the ring like the cross of Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How you been, bud?
Good. Other than having to parent 10 minutes before we started.
Sometimes that does happen.
Nothing all night. Just sitting here playing Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yote Legends because that dropped yesterday and it's been a blast. And I get a phone call and I'm just crying and I'm like, what is happening? Whose parent do I have to yell at? What's going on? And so hopefully the answer is none.
Well, hopefully, because you don't want to get in the way of all of that kid justice,
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm sure. I'm sure I'll get an update tomorrow after school. I'm sure everything will be just fine. Everything will go back to being just fine tomorrow. If not tomorrow, certainly by Friday.
Yeah, for sure. So, Tom, what do you want to talk about?
We're starting there.
I got something. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the One Fall WrestleCast proudly brings to you the most fired man in the history of the WWE, the Road Dogg, Jesse James.
Apparently, he didn't get fired. Apparently, he quit.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
that was
Allegedly.
the news that broke that he quit. Quick to backfill his spot too.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, has he not had enough chances on creative? Like at 4, it's right. It's been a ridiculous amount.
He's been
of
head
times.
writer of SmackDown twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
Now,
a ridiculous.
If I would have had more time, I would have liked to have gone back and searched out from one of our shows where you said, can't do any worse than what they're already doing with SmackDown. Let's just give them a chance.
Well, I mean, they did give him a chance, and to be fair, he didn't do any worse, but he didn't do any better.
He just cried a lot on Unreal.
He did cry a lot.
I just love him so goddamn much, and it's just I don't know. Wait, just tell me what you want me to do.
Yeah, I mean, I liked full disclosure here. Loved the Road Dogg during the Attitude Era.
Well, who didn't?
Road Dogg was my dude. Like he was like I had the T-shirt. I knew.
Yeah, but he was all hopped up on goofballs and Miller Lite.
Yeah, he sure was. I saw an interview with him from right after he got fired. There, people were just there on old clips and stuff. And I think it was Chris Van Vliet who had aired stuff. He was like, "Oh, you think you could have been a top guy or a higher up guy if it weren't for all the drugs?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." And I'm like, "No." no, you couldn't have been. Come on, buddy. Like I remember. I very distinctly remember he made it, despite all the, the goofy balls and the Miller Lights and all of that. He made it about as far as he was going to make it.
I mean, if you really want to split hairs, he was a top guy. I mean, he was in DX. They were like 14-time world or tag team champions.
When the tag team champions were a big deal.
Yes, because I mean, during that time, you got to figure you had the APA, you had Edge and Christian, you had the Hardys, you had the Dudleys, you had the New Age Outlaws. Legion of Doom was still fucking around a little bit. Like there was a lot of good tag teams.
Man, the downfall of the Legion of Doom, though, at that particular point in time was, man, that was...
Have you ever gone back and watched the 1992 SummerSlam at Wembley?
Which one is that?
What you know about that match now, that Hawk was so fucking high.
Oh, no, I haven't.
That Animal yeah, you need to do that. Now that you know that Hawk was high when he got to the arena, and that like he went through that match and he probably shouldn't have gone through that match, and you see him missing spots and shit, like you should definitely go take a look at that. It puts things into perspective how bad Michael Hegstrand really was in real life.
Yeah. Apparently he cleaned up like before his death. Like he was like he found Jesus and everything, and I don't know what killed him. It's probably
I mean, just you can only be rode hard and put away wet so many times throughout the years before.
I mean, that's what happened to it was heart attack. I mean, that's what happened to Road Warrior Animal too.
Yeah, but Road Warrior Animal was fucking
yeah.
All those Mexican vitamins he was taking.
Yeah, I mean, both of them though were fucking huge monsters. Let's see what kill. That's probably also a heart attack. Yeah, died of natural causes related to a sudden heart issue at the age of 60. All right, so his heart stopped because too much of them 80s steroids.
Yeah,
it made all your muscles big.
Yeah.
and that too.
Yeah.
So big everything. Your heart's a muscle, people. And then the booger sugar didn't help, I'm sure. But natural causes. That's what they said. At 60 years old, after being a physical specimen for 35 years.
Well, I would like to take this opportunity to wish Brian James the best on his future endeavors.
I'll say your future endeavoring him. Maybe he'll go to AEW. Brian James is All Elite.
I don't think that'll be.
And now they're not going to give him the Mark Henry spot. But it's time for the main event.
No.
No,
I don't think. I mean, maybe because Tony is a money mark, and
could totally happen.
Those types of things do happen from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking loves ex-WWE guys, and Jesus, to have the Road Dogg and Mr. Ass under your umbrella, have the Old Age Outlaws.
You can bring back the Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Sure can.
That's a deep cut for you.
That is a deep cut, Jesus.
Hey, so speaking of AEW, did you see that our boy Tommaso Ciampa turned heel?
I did. I loved it.
Man, felt very reminiscent of that Johnny Gargano turn.
Because it was the same thing. He threw him into the Tron, did all like beat the shit out of him right there up on the stage.
Hopefully TK books it just like Triple H did.
I mean, he really can. And that would have been during the time when AEW had first started. So like, no, it was before that.
Before.
Yeah, it was before. You're right. But still, it was like right before AEW started. So it would totally be like, I mean, honestly, Ciampa being there sort of rejuvenated Mark Briscoe for me a little bit, who I felt was super stale before. But now, like, Mark Briscoe's getting some good shit in with Ciampa. I mean, Ciampa doing the right thing. Ciampa working with FTR is cool, I guess. I mean, everybody's got to be in a faction in AEW, right? So you just almost have
Gargano's coming, isn't he?
He has to be. Although, because on Friday he was like, I'm John. He cut a great promo on Friday, and then he got killed by Obafemi. Then he got killed by Obafemi.
Yeah, he got dog walked. You know who else got dog walked by Obafemi on Monday? Rusev.
Yeah.
Real disappointed in that. I thought that they could have gotten a little bit more out of that.
Yeah, maybe you do it another week or something. Have Rusev hit him with a chair or something. Get the DQ, and maybe have Oba shrug off the chair and fight back, and have everybody have to break him up or something. I guess they reserve that for the tippy top guys. So just got to have Rusev lose clean in like 6 minutes or however long it took.
So I mean, and clearly, they don't want to put Obafemi in a position to lose. You know what I mean?
No, I think they want to stick him against somebody big. They're gonna let him beat somebody who he maybe ought not beat yet, but until then, they're gonna have him beat everybody in the middle.
Well, I mean, since we're kind of tickling the taint on this, Brock Lesnar is reportedly refusing to lose another match before he retires.
I think that's a little bit sensationalized. I think what because the other report, I saw that report, and the other report that I saw was that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have indicated that they don't think Brock Lesnar should lose again until his retirement match. That being said, if Brock Lesnar's retirement match is this year at SummerSlam, and that puts what, 2, 3, that makes 3 more matches left in his career total.
Well, I've also seen lots of implication that his name was in the Epstein files.
See, I have not seen that, but that would be really.
I've seen quite a few little blurbs. I've not clicked on any of that stuff. Like, I don't. You want to talk about, sensationalized? I try not to, because I try not to wade too deep into those waters, just simply because your favorite person's favorite person's favorite person has been implicated in the Epstein files by somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
even Winnie the Pooh is in the Epstein files. It's true. You can look that up.
I don't.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know for certain. A Google search has not immediately given me any kind of reasoning one way or the other. Man, I don't know if that's true. We're not gonna see Brock Lesnar. They're just gonna beat him at WrestleMania in a couple weeks and retire him there, and maybe that's what they were planning on doing anyway. But I think that would be a real short retirement run. But I don't think he needs a whole John Cena year or even an AJ Styles sort of like.
Well, it kind of feels like they're giving us a John Cena year because they announced his appearances up to WrestleMania.
I mean, that's only like what, 3-4 weeks away?
Yeah, 5, I think. But like, what is it? It's April 18th and 19th.
Yeah. So
yeah,
a little more than a month. You're right. 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks. So it's not. It's a 5-week retirement run. I think is fine. If he's going to be on, if he's going to make 5 appearances in 5 weeks, that's more than we've seen Brock in the last 5 years.
I agree. I mean, that's more than we've seen Brock on his last championship title reign.
Absolutely. I think somebody pointed that out online. It was like, we haven't seen. There was a point in time where we didn't see Brock. He won a title at WrestleMania. We didn't see him again until SummerSlam. It was a big gap, like a 3-month gap where there was no title on television. What's going on? I think Seth Rollins was the Intercontinental Champion. And he was defending every week because
it was either Seth or Roman because they did they put the product on their back there for a little while with that IC title.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun time actually.
If it's when I'm thinking of, I think it was Seth had the IC title. I'm thinking Seth had the IC title, and basically he and Finn Balor would have a banger week in, week out for it. They went like 3 weeks, and I think they traded it back and forth once, and Seth ended up with it again, and it was just a masterclass. They just went out there, took like a half hour every Raw. Like, go ahead, guys, and it was amazing every week.
Well, I mean, 2 of the best in ring, bell to bell. I mean, it's hard to argue that. You know what I mean?
This would have been 6-7 years ago, something like that. So they were several years younger and in the prime of their careers, which would have been mid-30s at that point.
Yeah. Oh shit! Excuse me. But I think I agree with you on this, though. I think that this is probably being a little blown out of proportion. I mean, it may not be blown out of proportion, though, either at the same point in time. I
think if Brock beats 6 dudes and we see Brock a lot and he's just ripping dudes' heads off and punting them into the front row for 6 months, that might be a little ridiculous. But if we're talking, Brock shouldn't lose until he loses his retirement match, which maybe he wins at WrestleMania and then his retirement match is at SummerSlam. Okay, he's going to win 1 match and then lose, the next one, or win 2 matches and lose a third.
Well, and let's not forget what Paul Heyman said in that promo 2 Mondays ago when he said, this man's there used to be 2 main events at WrestleMania, and one was the world title match and the other was the Undertaker streak, and Brock's the one that beat the streak. So, by that knowledge, Brock has earned the right to take that spot, to take that main event. And so, to me, I feel like Brock's just going to work WrestleMania every year, and that's going to just kind of be his thing for a few years.
So you're thinking they're not going to retire Brock this year. They're just going to let Brock beat somebody for the next 2 or 3 years, but sparingly.
Yes.
And then, okay. I mean, that's going to get old, especially if you just know, oh, well, it's not his last match, so I guess Brock's going to win this one. That's going to get old pretty much by the 3rd match. But, if he has that many matches, I think that's kind of the, maybe there's only 3 or 4 matches in the tank, and, if he's going to win 3 out of 4 of them, that's not that ridiculous.
But I don't know, man. I think that it makes sense, but at the same point in time, it makes sense from the standpoint of you can't put a title on this guy because he picks and chooses when he wants to work. Mm-hmm. And I think that the business has passed him by, honestly. And, you know, he's still big. He's still dominant. He's still a freak athlete. What is he, 40?
47, 48, something like that. He's John Cena's age.
He's 48.
Yeah, 48 years old. I mean, what? I mean, potentially he could have a few more years. How long did Hulk Hogan wrestle? 50 or 52, 53?
Something like that. Oh, this is new. When I Googled him, this was new. The report expects Brock Lesnar to face Obafemi at WrestleMania 42. But
Obafemi.
They're not going to want Obafemi to lose.
No. Well, and maybe he doesn't have to lose either. It could certainly be a draw. It could be a tie. It could be a thing that they draw out. You know what I mean? They could draw it out till SummerSlam. Maybe
they beat the fuck out of each other, and then it becomes a no contest. Similar to the Fiend versus Seth Rollins in a no rules match in Hell in the Cell. I'll never understand that. So,
I don't know. It could be one of those things where it never starts. They just beat the shit out of each other in the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, that would work too. Get a good thing rolling. I mean, what's the chances that Kevin Owens answers the open challenge?
That would be cool.
I'd love it if Jericho that answers the open.
I mean, that makes sense too, because you can have Brock beat Jericho. Jericho losing doesn't do anything.
You don't think his return to the company losing doesn't?
Not to Brock. And I don't think Jericho's coming back either. Jericho's still on the AEW roster. He's not coming back.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Never say never in the wrestling business.
I mean, I just don't think it's happening next month. I think, if he does come back, it'll happen at some point, but I don't think it's happening next month. Maybe next year.
Maybe next Royal Rumble. So, yeah. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of interesting scenarios for Brock Lesnar's open challenge at WrestleMania. But this reportedly refusing to lose thing, I think, kind of limits some of the booking. Because who's gonna tell Brock Lesnar that he's gonna lose? You can tell him backstage, hey, we got you booked to lose this one. Here's the finish. Oh, okay. And then just go out to the ring and just do what Brock Lesnar does, and
just not lose. Just not lose at all. Brock Brock tells the guy, hey, by the way, I'm not going to lose. Just goes on. And, at that point, first of all, if you're in the ring with Brock Lesnar and he tells you, hey, by the way, I'm not going to lose, you're just going to go along with what Brock does, right? Like, you're not going to actually try to physically stop Brock Lesnar, right? Even if you're as big as Obafemi.
Yeah, no, I don't. No.
Because, even if you're Obafemi, do you want Brock Lesnar to break your nose? Because I don't. Because that's what he'll do.
I mean, look what he did to Randy Orton.
Yeah. And Randy okayed that. I mean,
look what he did to Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Now he just eats food on the USA Network after SmackDown.
This show's actually not that terrible.
No, it's not bad at all. Actually, it's pretty. I watched like 2 episodes of it. It's not like, but it's shot like. I really always liked Man versus Food, and this is Man versus Food, but it's like Monster versus Food. And the concept is just like, this tickles the nostalgia and a wrestling button.
Yeah, wrestling adjacent.
Yeah.
I do like it though. I do like it.
I hope they do more seasons.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun for sure. Hey, so did you see that ESPN has decided to drop giving letter grades to WWE PLEs
I did see that
because of internal backlash?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of a conflict of interest there, isn't it? Like,
it is, but I think that's the problem, right? So it's like ESPN can't give everything an A and can't like glaze everything that WWE does, because if they do that, they look like Dave Meltzer giving all of his Dave Meltzer awards to AEW, you know? But WWE certainly doesn't want the carrier of all of their pay-per-views, all of their premium live events, to be like, this match gets a D, this match gets a C plus, this one gets a D minus, this guy and fuck that guy, and this sucks and that sucks. Like, that's, I could see how dropping the letter grades it would be a conflict for both of them. Like, they just signed a mega deal to have all these PLEs, and I understand that like ESPN is not particularly thrilled with I guess ESPN probably thought, oh, we're gonna get 2-3 million people every once a month to tune in and pay $30 and whatever, and that just hasn't been the turnover ratio. And I know that now it's like, they're giving away ESPN is like, well, if you have cable with literally anybody, you just get it now. And it's like, it was one of those things where it was like standalone. It's like, well, it's $30, but if you have cable, you don't even have to have the ESPN cable. Like Xfinity's giving it away, Verizon's giving it away. Those are the only cable providers in this area, but I imagine there's probably others that are doing the same. I think.
Well, I have it with my Hulu Plus Live. I have it.
Yeah. It's tied in with Hulu Plus Live, which is also basically cable. So I could see how they've pivoted already, and it's only been a few months, and it's a lot easier to get WWE, or it's a lot easier to get ESPN, whatever they've rebranded it. Select, is that what it is now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get it for free than it was when this all first kind of came around. Because remember when it all first came around, they had to like break it down on SmackDown. This is how you get it. This is how you log in. This is how you find it. And it was like one of those things where it's like, we need a lesson. We need training on this. If we need training,
now I turn on. I turn on the recommended for you.
Yeah, it comes up for me now. Thanks, Mom and Dad, by the way. My dad doesn't. I just linked it all to my stuff. So like, here, Dad, here's the login whenever you need it. But it's like, now we're sitting here at this juncture where I think ESPN has, I don't want to say they have buyer's remorse necessarily, but I don't think this has panned out as bigly as they thought it was going to. And I think at this point, we're starting to see pivots, and we're starting to see a few cracks in the foundation here. Personally, I don't like WWE on ESPN. I think that everything that's already happened it's been the Peacock era, I think, started off a lot stronger and was a lot better than the ESPN era has been thus far. We'll see what WrestleMania does. WrestleMania might surprise me, and I would like, WrestleMania is the best. But
Cody Rhodes did say that it was going to be the best WrestleMania bell to bell of any WrestleMania prior.
I feel like he has to say that.
Yeah, I'll believe that once I see a fucking a match card.
Yeah, I understand. At this point, I think it's still up in the air with how many injuries.
We have two. We have 2 matches. I'm sorry, we have 4 matches booked for WrestleMania.
Yeah, 4.
4 world title matches booked for WrestleMania. That's it. Nothing.
It's only going to be what, 12 matches, 12 total, maybe 12 segments.
No, I'd say probably 14 to 18.
The PLEs since
Two
moving,
nights.
the PLEs since moving to ESPN have only been 4 matches.
But we're talking about WrestleMania, bro. We're not talking about fucking. We're not talking about Backlash. We're not talking about fucking Chuchamania in fucking Indianapolis.
WrestlePalooza.
Like we're not talking about we're talking about WrestleMania. Okay, we're talking about the showcase of the mortals, the grandest stage of them all.
Okay, I hope you're right. I hope there's much more wrestling for me to watch than I expect at this moment. But like you said, right now there is 4 matches for 2 nights, and everybody who's not in those matches may or may not be hurt.
There's a lot of injuries right now.
There's just more another person gets injured like every week, or people who they think should be back remain injured. Like it's, part of calling the audible with Jade Cargill is like, well, hopefully we'll have, if we just put this on Jade now and we just kind of muddle through all this, hopefully we'll have either Naomi or Bianca back. Naomi, we've not heard hide nor hair about. And maybe that's a good thing, and maybe she'll show up at WrestleMania, and maybe that's what that is. But I've heard nothing. We've not heard from Big Jim, who's on TV every week. We've not heard from her personally. She used to be really active on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff. We have not seen anything. We all know what happened with Bianca. She just had surgery on that finger after over a year of doctors telling her, it'll heal. Just wait, it'll heal. And, she's super frustrated about it, and rightfully so. So I think that they thought, at least a few months ago, that they were going to have, at least for Jade, we'll have Bianca back for sure. It's just her finger. We'll have her back for sure. So let's go ahead and run with this, because
it's WrestleMania since WrestleMania of last year.
Yeah, she wasn't even in that. She was a guest referee. She was hurt before that.
Oh, that's right.
She got hurt in the Rumble.
That's right.
So it's been 13, 14 months almost.
For a finger.
Yeah. I mean, if she can't, it's this one. If you've watched the Instagram stories, it's this one. So I don't know how important this is to wrestling, but it seems like it's really important.
Well, I know that it's really important whenever you're using a chef's knife, because that's like your fulcrum. That's how you get your action. Or a drumstick.
Yeah. And then maybe that's that's clearly part of what the issue is. But I think that stinks. So that's part one. Rollins cleared to wrestle, or is he just there?
I mean, he's in there giving stomps and shit. Like, I don't think that they're gonna let him be physical in the ring if he's not medically cleared to perform.
Yeah, they're not giving a guy who just had his shoulder surgically repaired Irish whips. And the whole Adam Pearce thing on Monday really kind of locked that in for me. It was like he was like, "Hey, don't mess with these Vision guys because you just had surgery and I don't want them to hurt you," kind of a thing to him. And it's like, oh, so maybe he's not actually cleared to wrestle. He's just here to be on TV and, give people bumps and not actually take them. But that's just him. Jordan Grace got hurt this week.
Yeah. That's in my notes here. Looks like she tweaked her knee pretty good.
Yeah. And her ankle, I think. She was in a boot.
Rumor has it that they had some big WrestleMania plans for her.
I mean, that might still happen, because it might just be a thing where she needs to be in a boot for a couple weeks, and like we've still got a few weeks to go, so maybe 2-3 weeks in a boot and she'll be good to go. But it looks Chelsea Green took pictures with her. They're both in matching boots. Chelsea Green's another one that's hurt.
Yep.
Then you figure you got the rest of the Vision is on the shelf pretty much. Braun Breaker, nobody knows when he's coming back.
So let's sidebar on all these injuries here a little bit. Do you remember 3-ish years ago when 3/4 of AEW's active roster was hurt?
Yes.
Okay, and we were having a similar conversation. Um, do you believe that WWE is now the unsafe working environment because of all of these injuries?
I mean, I don't think any of these injuries were caused by unsafe work. If you remember at the time when AEW did it, a guy broke his leg falling through what was some form of like structure that they had built with tables and ladders and chairs.
Oh my.
Oh my. And you know, the move itself was executed perfectly, but he landed on his feet, and he fell like 30 feet and landed on his feet, and his leg just went nope. It was Dante Martin that did that. But these have not been like egregious spots or anything. This isn't, nobody was hooked up to cables or falling through tables and ladders. Bronson Reed dove to break up a pin, and if you watch it in slow motion, you literally see his bicep tear. It's like when Vince McMahon walked down to the ring and tore both his quads. Like, it was just a freak thing. How did Seth get hurt his shoulder? He was like working out or something. It wasn't even in the ring.
I think he was working out, and then they wrote it into the storyline with
Bronson Reed was standing there by himself and flipped a table, tore a hole in his, I don't know where, here I think, got a hernia. Yeah. I don't know that any of that's unsafe per se. Jordan Grace she just biffed it and did that thing I'm sure you've done the thing too, where your ankle just does a stupid thing and you're just like, ah! Yeah, that's what it looked like happened to her. Cause like she shared it on Instagram and like in slow motion. And she was like, figures a couple days after I turned 30, my ankle decides to just turn itself into knots or whatever. So I don't think that necessarily it's unsafe. I just think that there's they got bit by the injury bug. I don't know if they're cursed. But a lot of people have said that Seth faking that injury has certainly led to quite a few injuries. And that's kind of one of those things that has always been a sort of superstition where it's like, you don't fake an injury, because if you fake an injury in storyline, people are going to start getting injured for real. And that seemed, I'm not a supersticious guy, but that certainly seems to be the coincidence. So at this point, I don't know that they know who they're going to get back in time, which is why we've only got 4 matches on a card of the only people who are healthy, and probably the only people who are going to wrestle between now and then, who are not going to wrestle between now and then.
I don't know, man. It's not good. It's not good.
You don't need half your roster hurt going into WrestleMania, especially like guys who you perceive to be current and future top guys.
Yes. I don't know. The injury thing, it's just one of those.
And it's like, these are guys that are protected too. So it's not even like a thing where it's like, oh, they were being super risky and they did a dumb dive and oh, now he's concussed forever. These were all like sort of freak injury things, like the Naomi thing, like, or not Naomi's pregnant, obviously. So that's one thing. We don't know what's going on there. Hopefully all is well and she's doing well. I don't even know if she's had the baby yet or what the deal is with that. And if they're trying to be private, great, do that, have private family time. But with Bianca, that's like, that was a freak thing too. It happened like she was throwing somebody over the rope and something just jammed her finger in a weird way. She still finished the match. And yeah, here we are 14 months later, she's still busted. So it's, injuries are a thing, and they certainly piled up this year.
Yeah, they definitely have. So, and I think that we're seeing the effects of that right now with the shape of the WrestleMania card. Being 5 weeks out and we have 4 announced matches. I think that we're in a point in time where we're probably going to start getting some shit thrown together that's probably not going to make a bunch of sense. And we're probably going to be doing a whole lot of bitching here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's already started, if you haven't noticed. They've reshuffled how they can put, because they, the main thing they got to protect is those main events. So they've had to shuffle some stuff around, which I know we'll talk about.
Absolutely.
But it just, I mean, it stands to not get better, but potentially get worse. But we'll see. Maybe they'll pull it out. I don't know how they're gonna. It's gonna take a miracle, but maybe Steve Austin shows up on 316 on Monday. Maybe they break glass in case of emergency. They call out Stone Cold.
I mean, and that could be a thing, you know what I mean? And I think that there's a possibility that we will see him on 316, as he tends to do, which is Monday Night Raw. The last time Monday Night Raw fell on 316 was 2020, and that show got canceled in Pittsburgh about 28 hours before I was supposed to be there.
Yeah, the day before. That's I remember that was man, I remember like taking my stuff home and being like, oh, well, we'll see what happens on Monday. And then Monday was just like, no. Everything stopped. They were like, oh, shit. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe break in case of emergency, we get some Stone Cold on Monday, and then we'll see where that goes. And the Undertaker is always happy to show up and dong, but not in his hat or any of his ring gear. I don't think you get The Rock. I don't think The Rock's going to show up. But there's plenty of emergency guys you can run to. I don't know that makes it any better. That makes it a better show, but it certainly puts eyeballs on the product. And we all know WrestleMania is for like, it's like that's the one where the casual fans will tune in. It's like, well, I don't watch wrestling week to week, but it's fucking WrestleMania weekend, so we're going to watch that because that's a big deal, right? So, but with it being on ESPN too, I don't even know of if they're doing watch parties, because all the places that would have done watch parties before would have done it on Peacock. So that's going to be an interesting thing too.
I don't know. I tend to believe that over the next couple of weeks, you and I are going to have a lot of issues with some decisions that are going to be made, but it might be all right. It might be all right. I will say one decision that neither of us has an issue with is Bayley winning the gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw.
That was when they announced what it was, and I'm like, this is interesting. This could be fun. And then it happened, and I'm like, this is amazing. What's happening right now? Honestly, that gauntlet match for the Intercontinental title was more exciting and better than anything that's gone on for like the primary titles, the primary women's titles in like months. I'm like, why don't we do this for like number one contenders for, because if you do it too much, it stinks. But wow, that was cool. I love gauntlet matches. For whatever reason, a good gauntlet match just thrown in there at some point just is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And, and I think that big ups for Bayley to finally, get a nudge in the right direction. It's just sad that it's going to be on a random Monday Night Raw. Well, it's going to be on 316 Monday Night Raw. And she's probably, she's definitely going to lose because you're not going to take it from AJ Lee in her first defense. But, who knows? Maybe it's screwy. Maybe something happens. And, we get AJ Lee and Bayley at WrestleMania. And maybe Hunter does right by Bayley. And that would be pretty fucking cool.
Maybe I would bet by WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to let AJ Lee have a one-on-one. I think at the very least it ends up being a triple threat. Because if you think about how they've used AJ Lee since coming back, it's basically just been against, one-on-one. It's only been against Becky. But
she only had 2 matches. She had the match with Phil, Becky, and Rollins.
Well, she was also in War Games.
Oh, yeah, she was in War Games.
But she was one of 10 people in War Games.
Yeah, that's right. She was in War Games.
So, they've very much protected her because you're right. She was in the match with CM Punk. She wrestled Becky twice, I think.
April, go and grab your Intercontinental Championship belt for me.
So I would think that at WrestleMania they'll
April. I feel like you should probably have a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they do
April. I'm so very glad that you've had such great success upon your WWE return.
Maybe they'll have
April. I'm so very proud of you for tapping out Becky Lynch. She's the best to ever do it, and it's not just her saying it. Everybody says it.
ESPN says it. So you have Bailey and April and Becky and whom else? Maybe you also put Lyra in there. I will say during that match, my favorite moment of the match didn't even happen, wasn't even part of the match, really. It was Asuka and Kairi were coming down to the ring, and Asuka's handing Kairi shit, and Kairi's talking to the cameraman, and like the camera follows Kairi, right? Because Kairi's talking to the cameraman. And in like the back, barely in focus, you see Asuka walking towards the ring, and you just see Bailey fly out of the ring and blast Asuka. Kairi never stops her stride and is just walking and talking the whole time. Meanwhile, Bailey is taking Asuka out entirely. It's one of the greatest shots that I've seen in wrestling in recent memory. It was such a good, I don't know if they did, I'm sure they did it on purpose, but it was very much appreciated by me. It was one of those things, like this was just a perfectly executed moment, and just sort of showed how fucking good all of them really are. Just to everybody have all of that timing happen all at once so perfectly. Really was cool. I also really thought that Lyra Valkyria looked really, really smooth. Like I was like, Jesus, she's so good. I feel like I think this every time she wrestles. Like she gets in the ring and she's just rolling around and flipping up, and like she has such control. It's just like, oh wow, is she good? And you know, it did not disappoint. She did not disappoint either. But none of them did. I thought everybody came out there like, all right, this is gonna be the best match on the card, and go. And then they all went out there and tore the house down, and it was great. And you know, I think Bailey and AJ Lee, Bailey can certainly get AJ Lee through a good match in the same way that Becky can. I think they're very much going to protect AJ Lee, really only have her in the ring with people who know what they're doing, who will be very safe about it, and who will make not only her look, but make everybody look good and make the Intercontinental title look good. So I'm looking forward to that on Monday, but I agree. There's no way Bailey wins on Monday.
You want to make the IC title look good. You do exactly what you've been doing, and you put that shit right back on Becky Lynch, and you just let Becky be Becky.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen at WrestleMania. But I guess we'll see. See how we get there, because now we got Bailey stuck in there. And remember, if you remember correctly, Bailey missed WrestleMania last year because of Becky Lynch.
I do remember correctly. So hopefully we get, maybe Bailey walks away from WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion. That'd be okay in my book.
That'd be pretty cool too, and I think that's a good feel good moment, especially if she pins Becky, and then she and AJ can have like a rubber match or something, and they can do that like babyface versus babyface thing.
So your boy Jim Cornette.
Oh boy.
This was on the Jim Cornette Experience podcast. And before we get into this, man, if you're hanging out with us, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. Go ahead and get active in the comments too. We would love to hear from you. Anywho, Jim Cornette and his buddy there, Brian Last, right?
The great The great Brian Last.
Yeah. Had a little back and forth on the experience this week, and I'm going to read the transcript for you. We're recording this, right, motherfucker?
God. You can't even get it out.
I thought myself. This will live on for a few years. We pay our storage fee on the cloud or whatever, right? Brian Last says, yeah, we're all paid up. Corny goes, over the next 5 years, Austin Theory will become a much larger star in the pro wrestling business than Kyle Fletcher will, unless Kyle Fletcher comes to the same company that Austin Theory's currently at. And even then, I stand by that prediction. Brian Last says, so March 2031, you're saying on that date, Austin Theory will be a big star, or at least bigger star than Kyle Fletcher. Corny goes on to say, I'm saying over the next 5 years, Austin Theory will be a clearly delineated bigger star, barring injury or a safe falling on someone's head, either side. Austin Theory will be a bigger, more major, more marketable, and more well-used, recognizable star in the professional wrestling industry, unless Kyle Fletcher gets out from where he is and gets some learning in him.
I don't know. I feel like
I think that's a hot take.
That's a hot take. Yeah, I think that
because I'm pro the no socks guy.
The no socks? You mean Speedball Bailey?
No, Kyle Fletcher doesn't.
Kyle Fletcher he doesn't wear socks.
No, not when he's suited and booted. He doesn't wear socks.
What the fuck? Never mind. I take it back.
That's style now, bro.
I take it back. Never mind.
You wouldn't know.
Who doesn't wear fucking socks?
You old decrepit fuck.
Jesus, I take it back. No, Kyle Fletcher's gonna die without. Jesus Christ, no socks.
You know who else doesn't wear socks?
You're gonna make me upset, aren't you?
I think I am.
Go ahead.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin, doesn't wear socks.
Jesus, Pat. Do you not wear shoes either? You just walk down the street barefoot like some kind of caveman?
I mean, he wears shoes, but he definitely does not wear socks.
What? Shoes are meant to be worn with socks, people. Pat. Jesus, Pat. I still like Pat. At least Pat's not wrestling in no socks. But anyway, back to the hot take. Kyle Fletcher. I mean, they're still using him in AEW pretty hard, but it's like at this point, it's so every time I see him, it's in something kind of choreographed. You know, they try to make it. They're trying to break him away from who Will Ospreay is, but every time he wrestles, he kind of wrestles a little bit like Will Ospreay, and then it just sort of ends up blowing up, and not blowing up in his face, but it's just like he puts on great matches, and a part of this too, I think, is Corny just trying to poke Uncle Dave because Uncle Dave is real high on Kyle Fletcher. But at this point, I don't know that Kyle Fletcher is drawing money for AEW. You know what I mean? He's not really on week to week. He wasn't on the card this week. You got mostly now Mark Briscoe, Tommaso Ciampa, Claudio is always on the card every week. Same thing with John Moxley is always on the card every week. Sometimes you see Kyle Fletcher, and we'll probably see him, but he's not being advertised. So that just must mean that he's not putting butts in seats and he's not putting eyes on the product. And, I think he's had some good matches. But honest to God, the only person I ever hear talk about Kyle Fletcher is Dave Meltzer. I don't ever hear casual wrestling fan. Oh, did you see that Kyle Fletcher match the other day? Nobody says that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, are casual wrestling fans watching the AEW product?
Probably not. But even casual AEW, I don't see a lot of Kyle Fletcher discussion on the internet. Like he's not discussed as often as Braun Breaker is, or despite his injury, he's not discussed as often as Bronson Reed was up to his injury. Logan Paul gets talked about probably more than any single wrestler wrestling who isn't Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. And to Corny's point, they've got Austin Theory standing next to Logan Paul every single week. And, they've been having Paul Heyman hand him a microphone. So, I mean, I don't know if that's probably a better space to be standing than, in the overly bloated family of what's his nuts, Mr. Scarhead.
Don Callis?
Don Callis, yeah.
Don Jackal.
That guy fucking sucks. I hate Don Callis.
You're supposed to.
I know I'm supposed to hate Don Callis, but like it's not in the way where it's like, man, I just want to see somebody kick his ass. Like when he comes on TV, he makes me want to change the channel. And while Kyle Fletcher doesn't make me want to change the channel, I feel like he's not used in big enough storylines or made important enough for me to give a shit. Like, sure, the guy may have great matches. He's a young guy. He's got a big upside for sure. He's a pretty big guy, but Courtney might be right. I mean, but Austin Theory could also just crash and burn. I'm not sold on Austin Theory, and I think that's why this is the hottest of takes. Why it's a hot take anyway is that I'm not sold on Austin Theory. I don't know that Austin Theory is going to make it. Austin Theory could very much just be the next Baron Corbin.
He was also on the AEW roster.
He is? I thought he was in TNA.
Yeah, he's on AEW.
He is he? Bishop, what is he? Bishop Dyer?
Bishop Dyer.
Yeah, you're right. Dark match in January.
He was just on TV on Wednesday.
Huh. Go figure. Good for him. Good for him. You know, actually, they could use a guy like him, if I'm being honest. I'm sure they won't use him very well, but they could certainly use a guy like him. Safe, solid hand that you can hand a microphone to. He can be a dickhead. You know, he could be a bad guy, a good guy. Probably mostly a bad guy. That's the other problem with AEW is they got kind of too many bad guys. Like they need some white meat baby faces who aren't Kenny Omega that you only see once a month. Are the Young Bucks or they're baby faces now?
Yeah.
That's I saw, the last time I saw them, I'm like, wait a minute. It's the Young Bucks versus FTR and friends. But the Young Bucks are the baby faces in this scenario? Didn't we do this the opposite way right when FTR got there and then again after that? And I don't know. It just they need more faces. If you got to turn the Young Bucks baby face, I think you're hurting for baby faces. So yeah. Maybe stop signing heels or turn some people face. Because Kyle Fletcher's a heel right now. Obviously, he's in the Don Callis family, or is the Don Callis family made up of heels and baby faces because there's no clear delineation in AEW anymore?
I don't know that there was ever any clear delineation between heels and faces in AEW.
I mean, Cody Rhodes was always a baby face, that's for sure. Pretty sure Hangman Adam Page is a baby face. MJF is maybe a baby face now? I don't know. He's been a baby face before. But anyway, point being, I'm getting off on a tangent. Back to Mr. Cornette. It's a little bit of a hot take, but I don't think it's a hot take because he's right on Kyle Fletcher. I don't think Kyle Fletcher is going to be a big deal if he sticks around in AEW. But I do think there's very much a potential for Austin Theory to crash and burn. Especially if this Vision run doesn't go great either, doesn't get over. But who knows? I mean, he might get over, and it may be a big deal. I mean, guy looks like $1 million. He can work really well. He's really smooth in the ring. I think giving him standing him next to Paul Heyman feels like a big deal. So I guess we'll see. But I don't know that I can see a trajectory of him into the stratosphere but he's a young guy. He might figure it out. He needs a different haircut though. I understand wanting to change from the jobber haircut that he had before, but the shaved head look is also not what it is. Like we need a little bit of a gimmick change, but I think Braun Breaker does too. But I think Braun Breaker needs to kind of up his gimmick a little bit, either with a hairstyle change, or definitely that one Goldberg tattoo. Like do more. Do like Randy Orton, get the full sleeves going, or just do something else with that, because that's not I don't know, that's a Goldberg gimmick,
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna look like Bill Goldberg, and you're gonna do a spear, and you're gonna have the Bill Goldberg tattoo. I feel like that's gonna hold you back. Maybe grow a different beard. I don't know if he can. Maybe that's all the beard that grows. Although his dad's beard comes out to like here, so who fucking knows? They seem to be like a bearded family. I don't know. What do you think? You think that Austin Theory is going to be a big star? I don't know. I think that's the shaky part. He's not so much wrong about Kyle Fletcher not being a big star if he stays in AEW, but like,
yeah, I mean, I think that right now Kyle Fletcher is a rising star for sure, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that his in ring is great for the company that he works for. I don't know that he has the microphone chops yet to be a big star in, say, WWE, but is that even on his radar? Is that something that he wants to do? A lot of these guys now, what the fuck? A lot of these guys now, like it's all about making it to AEW. These indie guys and shit, like those are the folks that want to be in AEW because they want to do the art of pro wrestling and not be actors and entertainers in WWE, right? You look at the recent signing of somebody like Danhausen, who is a great in ring. He's got good in-ring potential or good in-ring upside. He's definitely a good in-ring performer, but he's a gimmick, right?
yeah.
Tailor-made, a gimmick tailor-made for the WWE. You look at somebody like a Kyle Fletcher, he's a pretty fucking good in-ring fucking bell to bell between the four ropes kind of pro wrestler. He's a pro wrestler's pro wrestler. And he's like 24.
Yeah.
And he's got a ton of upside. And I don't think that as it sits right now, looking at either side of the coin, that Austin Theory is a bigger deal than Kyle Fletcher to the pro wrestling space, right? Like you say that, Kyle Fletcher's not putting asses in seats, but who is putting asses in seats at AEW? The name AEW is putting asses in seats at AEW. The name WWE is putting asses in seats at WWE. It's the business isn't the same as it was whenever we were growing up, and the people on the marquee were the ones that were putting the asses in the seats. And you still have that from time to time, and I think you look at this interview that Cody Rhodes just did with Gunther on his podcast, and he said, we all thank you guys because you were the reason that people were there, right? Like you were the reason that there was butts and seats that night. And he even said, like, that's not something that happens a lot anymore. It's not built around one match or one guy. It's built around a collection of performers. And that's really what this space is now. That whenever you turn on AEW television, you're going to get to see a Kenny Omega. You're going to get to see the Young Bucks. You're going to get to watch a Ricochet and a Kyle Fletcher and a Will Ospreay. Not right now. Ospreay's still hurt, obviously,
Yeah.
but and then when you watch WWE, you're gonna see Obafemi and you're gonna see Brock Lesnar and maybe you're gonna gonna see Javon Evans and you watch a certain product because there's a collection that you like to enjoy. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think that this is a fair comparison by Corny at all. But as it sits present day, I'm taking Kyle Fletcher 5 times out of 5. And that's no shade at Austin Theory. I think that he's also absolutely got all the tools. He works good style. He looks like $1 million, and he's positioned with one of the best brains in the business right now. Standing next to arguably one of the most polarizing celebrities that has ever come through WWE, and he's got a lot of good going for him right now. But I'll be interested to see where this shakes out in March of 2031. But I don't think that it's fair to say that Kyle Fletcher can't be a big deal if he's not in WWE.
So I'm taking that more as a like throwing shade at Tony Khan for like just, him being a shiny toy for now, but that shiny toy being forgotten about, for periods of time. And it's happened to everybody. I mean, it's even happened to MJF. So, maybe it's a more experienced Tony Khan now, and maybe that's not going to happen. And maybe you're right. That will, but I think at some point, you have to factor in the Tony Khan experience where, like I said, this Wednesday coming up, he's not even advertised on the card for the moment, I don't think. Dynamite card. Let's see what we got here. So this was this week, yeah? So press conference, Hangman versus MJF, which they've been building for a while, has been cool. We got Speedball Bailey. The rain jet speed. Speedball's laser. Okay, so we got Speedball. So maybe Kyle is on the card. Where the fuck is this card? Why is this so stupidly done? Show me the card, damn it. There it is. It's Kyle Fletcher on this card. It is TNT Championship. Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball Bailey. All right, fine. So he is on the card. Good. I was wrong. I'm glad I looked that up. Why is there only one women's segment on here? Anyway, that's AEW.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot there, right? Like, and I think that's the piece of the pie that doesn't necessarily make me happy. I don't know. I think that it's a hot take from the standpoint that I think it's a little too early to make that, to make that call. And, just because you've got some personal animosity with Tony Khan and AEW for whatever reason, and then you've got this personal animosity with Uncle Dave to go out there and to say what I feel is inflammatory against somebody that I look at as the next go around in AEW. I don't think it's fair.
We'll see how his world title reigns, because he's going to get one. So we'll see how his world title.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's really going to be the telling. And same thing with Austin Theory. I mean, they may slap a world title on him, and it may go, holy shit! He may have. Now I know Damian Priest hasn't really gone anywhere since his world title run, but he may have this guy gets better every week with this title on his shoulder.
Yeah, really enjoyed Damian Priest's run, and now I feel like that experiment has come to pass, and I think that we're on the back nine of the Damian Priest experiment in WWE.
Yeah, I don't think he sniffs a world title anytime soon. Although he and R-Truth are a tag team now, which
a lot of people are pissed because the Street Profits are still out there.
Yeah. What happened to them? Where are they? What's going on? Like, we heard anything? Somebody hurt? Same thing.
They were on a house show on a tour here not too recently, and Montez Ford was looking a little plump.
Yeah, I saw that. They put pictures of him up on Instagram too. I don't know what's up with these guys. Same thing with have we seen Motor City Machine Guns?
They were on Friday because there was a tornado tag thing. It was like a gauntlet match.
And so they were in and out.
Yeah, and then they'd had a backstage segment with Gargano and Candice.
That makes sense. I did see that. Okay.
Who, by the way, continues to age like the finest of wines. God, that's my girl.
With the purple hair. You dig the purple hair. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here for the purple hair.
Here for the purple hair.
Yeah. She can do no wrong in my eyes.
I mean, at least she's not wrestling. She does get beat a lot, but I guess at least she gets to wrestle some and be on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're on TV and they occasionally give you a microphone and or a backstage segment, it's hard to be like, they don't use me. What do you mean? You're on TV every week. Everybody gets a couple minutes. There you are. I don't know.
1372.
What's that? The year?
1372.
What's that?
1372.
Is that the amount of days since the Street Profits have been on TV?
No, that's the amount of days that Finn Balor was in the Judgment Day.
Oh, yeah. They only teased this for 3 years. He was the last OG member too. He was the last of the members that jumped Edge.
I love that Dom corrected that. Adam Copeland. He put asterisk Adam Copeland. There was like a Twitter exchange going on between some of those guys.
And I mean, I like the way they did it. And I mean, maybe this is part of the break, the break glass because everybody's hurt. We gotta blow up this Judgment Day thing because Finn versus Dom's a big deal. But we also have to have something separate happening with the Intercontinental title. So to keep Dom away from the Intercontinental title, we got to break up the Judgment Day and have Dom versus Finn and, go down that road. JD turned on him too, which I thought.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Because JD at first was like, what's going on? And then JD turned on him too. I was like, oh shit. Man, that was a powerful segment.
It definitely was. And hopefully we're in a point where we're going to be over the Finn Balor situation here.
I would like to, man, could you imagine if it ends up being Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania and Finn comes out as the demon? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Like the proper demon, not that Judgment Day demon that got a couple staples in his head mid-match against Edge. Not that demon. Proper demon.
The proper demon. Yeah. I do like that they went back to using that theme for him when he comes out. That catch your breath theme is like all-time, that's like an all-time favorite of mine.
Yeah, we definitely drooled over it last week.
Yeah, you texted me. You're like, Tom, tell me you're not doing the Finn Balor thing right now. I'm like, damn it, Walt, because I was. You called me out via text. You weren't even here. You're like, you're doing the thing, aren't you? Like, fucker.
I did it too.
You did.
Yeah, but I do. I agree with your take on that break glass in case of emergency, because that's definitely where we're at in our life right now with the creative planning going into WrestleMania 42, especially with your head writer of your of your Friday night show stepping down, and in the midst of all of the chaos, we're definitely at a point where it's like, hey, I think it's time to turn your baby face, buddy.
Mm-hmm. We need Finn Balor as a babyface. Everybody else is hurt. All right, you're turning on Judgment Day.
I need the demon at WrestleMania.
Got to put that. That's got to go on the card. You guys are they're probably going to kick off because they like to do the first match of the night's always a big fucking deal. That would probably kick off one of the two nights.
I mean, it could kick off the entire weekend, and I'd be A-okay with that.
Yeah. It might. I'd get everybody real hyped.
Because I do think that'll be a fun little match between those two.
And then you get to have not that it won't be a good in-ring work rate type thing, but the demon matches are a little bit gimmicky, just to say the least. And I think if you kick it off with that, it gets everybody real excited. And then you can have a real proper wrestling match after. Maybe after that you have a Gunther match, or you have something to that effect, something a little better work rate wise. I was trying to think of women's matches that could go on the next, but everybody's hurt there, so it's I don't know who will be better by then, but maybe whatever Lyra Valkyria is doing will happen second or whatever.
Don't forget you got Julia with the United States Championship.
Yeah. That actually would be a good spot for that, I think, right there. If you go right after that and let them have just a slobber knocker, whomever her opponent ends up being.
Maybe it's Kiana James.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. See, That I don't know is if that's a big enough deal yet. Maybe it is. Maybe that goes there.
I don't know. That feels like a hard act to follow.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work. But yeah.
So something happened on Monday night, and I would be doing us a disservice if I did not bring this up. CM Punk walks to the ring in the main event segment of Monday Night Raw. Starts cutting a promo. Then the Usos music hits.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy and Jay waltz out to the ring. And we got the most intense version of Jey Uso since he was the right-hand man to the Tribal Chief way back at the beginning of the entire Bloodline storyline.
He's locking it in. It's WrestleMania season.
And my God, did it feel so fucking refreshing.
So, yes, and I liked it, but initially going into it, here was my thought. Was going in, it was like, oh, Roman's not going to come to work every week. So, like with the Bloodline, we need his cousins to come in and fill in the space on the days that he's not coming to work. And so while I agree with you, Jay looked great in that segment, and it was like very intense, and it was a good segment to end the show on. Especially after you had the Roman and Punk exchange where Punk tells Roman he's going to bury him next to his father. And I think that's a good spot for Jay, but it also definitely just looks like Roman not coming to work. Like Roman punked out because Punk told him, Punk got the last word, and then Roman wasn't there the next week.
Right.
So that is just if we're putting the perspective on the main event, is it good for Jey Uso and Jimmy too? I think Jimmy's been sort of underlying like low key awesome this whole time as well. Like as sort of just like the backup guy, the hype man, the sort of like, but wait, let's bring it back. Give me the microphone. Let me explain something kind of a thing. I think Jimmy's been killing it also. But I think this hurts the main event. I mean, unless of course the Usos are getting involved in some which way, and maybe Jay turns, and maybe Jimmy has to decide or whatever. We've been there before. So I think it. Well, I think it hurts Roman, but I think it helps Jay. I guess we'll see what happens if Roman wants to come to work. I will probably still bring up that, but he said he was going to bury you next to your father, and then you didn't go to work for the next week. You called out sick or whatever. So. I don't know. I don't know that it was an overall positive, although it was a good segment and Jay looked strong, but I thought it made Roman look weak from afar, and maybe they'll address that.
Maybe.
Roman's come out and said things like that. I don't need you to fight my battles for me. Kind of maybe Roman will, come out and say, because he's cut those promos before too.
Yeah, he certainly has. So, I'll be interested to see where that goes on Monday because I do believe that the Tribal Chief is scheduled to appear on 316 day. But I could say I agree with that take. I think that's probably that's actually really, really good take on that. That kind of made Roman look a little weak there. So. But I did I wanted to give props to Jey Uso because he just looked right.
Guy gets a lot of hate on the internet, despite selling a hell of a lot of t-shirts.
Yep. So, all right, bud. We've been beating around the bush on it.
We have.
Cody Rhodes is your new WWE Undisputed World Champion, beating Drew McIntyre in what was a pretty good match on Friday night.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I could have liked it more if it wasn't so goddamn predictable. I know why they did it, and I know what we've been kind of beating around it. I get it. I understand that Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is a much bigger deal in a marquee, and to be a marquee guy at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, legacies of the business, that makes a lot of sense. For the casual fan, the people who don't watch week to week will tune into WrestleMania to be excited to watch that match. As a fan that watches week to week, I hate it. And it makes me dislike's the wrong word, because I don't think Cody politicked his way into this. I think, like we've been saying all night, break glass in case of emergency. All right, we need this stuff because I need Drew to be over here, and we're going to lose Drew after Mania anyway because he's got to go film the Highlander. So let's get Drew wrapped up with Jacob Fatu. Let's put Cody in, because everybody wants Cody and Randy, and somebody's going to turn heel. So we got to do that. That's going to be great. And then, you got Roman versus CM Punk, which really is the main event, the night 2 main event. The reason,
there's no question about it that's the night 2 main event.
So, I think you kind of have to shuffle what talent and what marquee guys you have. You got to sprinkle them all over the place. So I logically, I understand why they're doing this, right? I get it when it's like, all right, you have these pieces on the board to play. You can put them together in any way you want. What's going to sell the tickets? What's going to fill up the seat? Because they're having a hard time selling the seats too. Let's not pretend like WrestleMania is already sold out. It is not. No. The ticket prices are dropping. So it's and they're trying to do things to get people to buy the tickets, cutting off, doing blackout areas 50 feet around so that bars and restaurants can't. They're 50 miles within a radius of the stadium, so bars and restaurants can't have watch-alongs. So it's a very they're panicked, and obviously, so they got to start putting these and it's getting close. They got to start putting these storylines together. So everybody wanted Drew to have the title, and Drew had the title for 56 days, I think is what I saw. But then he drops to Cody in his first title defense. I mean, to be fair, we saw Drew a lot, but it was always him kind of running in, mucking up somebody's match again, so that he didn't have to fight him. First he did it at the Royal Rumble, and then he did it. He did it again during Elimination Chamber, and I'm sure this is where the story is going to go between now and the end, and this is how Drew and Jacob will break off. But somebody's going to call Cody out and be like, you lost both, right? You both didn't win the Royal Rumble and you didn't win the Elimination Chamber. Why the hell are you in the main event of wrestling?
Well, I mean, Sami Zayn fucking called him out on Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Before the match.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and maybe Sami's going to keep doing it, but that's the problem is you put it, Sami Zayn is the wrong person to allow to be self-righteous again. I get that's his gimmick, but good God.
Yeah, but I think they're setting him up for a heel turn here.
Great. Have him go back to being the conspiracy theorist or, something along those lines. Cause I'm pretty sick of babyface Sami Zayn. I think he's getting to that Naomi point with me where this gimmick needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not been good. And I understand the thought process and I understand the business piece of it, and trying to lure in the casual fan with the big name. But I just feel so damn bad for Drew.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's you finally get up, and I liked what he was doing too about interfering in stuff, but just to take it off of him on a random Friday, it just feels cheap. And going into it, it was oh, they're really gonna do this, aren't they? And then they really did it, and it's I don't like this. For a week to week viewer, I don't like this. That's my maybe I don't want to watch next week now. That's what I get as somebody that does watch, pretty religiously. So it's hard to. It's like you said, like we said. I get it. I know why you did it. On paper, it makes perfect sense. But if I watch the show week to week, this feels cheap.
Yeah, it definitely does. And as somebody that watches the show week to week, you feel you feel really, really disappointed.
Because it's like, this isn't the first time they've done this kind of thing to Drew either. Like, if it was somebody else, that's one thing. If somebody else had a 56-day title reign and, you know, you made him drop it again in his first defense back to the same guy he beat for it in the first place, you know, I think that's different. But, like, you know, the last time Drew held the title, he lost it in, like, what, 5 minutes after a Money in the Bank cash in?
Yeah.
So it's hard to, like, and then, you know, clawed all the way back up there to almost get it and fail, almost get. In fact, I was getting sick of Drew versus Cody. And I guess that was, you know, what I don't know that it makes sense to do Drew versus Randy Orton, but at the same time, why not Jacob Fatu winning that, because it's not a big enough marquee name for your title picture. And anyway, so this just feels like a cheap way to get the biggest names on the marquee. And, you know, I don't like it. I know they had to take that title off of Cody, but I think Cody's going to get booed, depending on what city they're in.
And I think that that's maybe what they want.
Maybe.
So, I don't know. I'm going to end this here, and I think that I'll be really interested to see how this WrestleMania card continues to shape up. I still am not sold that we're going to have a one-on-one match between Randy Orton and fucking Cody Rhodes. I'm just not.
I mean, they could pivot too. They've got time.
Do they though? 5 weeks isn't a lot of time.
Well, they got time to throw somebody else in the match. They don't have time to like. They don't have time to put the title on somebody else, but they get time to throw somebody else in the match.
Oh, I don't know, man. They're just. This feels wonky. It feels.
No argument there.
Feels disorganized. It feels ingenuous, if I'm being honest. And I don't know that I'm here for
it. It definitely feels like, oh shit. All right, well, all right. You're gonna fight him. You're gonna give that back. One of you's turns heel. I don't. It doesn't feel well thought out. It feels like a pivot.
It definitely feels like a pivot, and it feels like a safety move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like we talked about leading into the Royal Rumble. You know, the week of the Royal Rumble, we talked about
them needing big names.
Yeah, well, them needing to have a fresh face somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've gotten that.
Bunch of 40-plus-year-old guys in the main event of WrestleMania again, and it's been the same guys. I mean, you know, they were the guys in their 30s in the main events of WrestleMania when we were in our 30s, and now that we're in our 40s, they're the main event guys in their 40s. It's like shit hasn't changed, and it's like, ooh, like CM Punk went away, and then he came right back, and right back where he was. It's like, okay, like it's great, but man, this is what 15 years ago felt like, or 12 years ago felt like too. So how long was CM Punk? It was 11, so it would be whatever, 12, 13 years ago, 11 or 10 from when he actually quit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll just keep on watching and keep on keeping
next week about what happened. Like, do you fucking believe this shit?
So I don't know. We shall see. Well, my friend, we've come to that point in time where we only have one piece of business left, and that would be the world famous One Fall WrestleCast match of the week. Tom, what was your match of the week?
So we kind of already talked about it. My match of the week was the Intercontinental title match qualifier, women's gauntlet match. I thought it
couldn't agree with you more.
Great. Ivy Nile looked yoked, and like she came
really
out
coming along.
She always looks yoked, but she was like fucking shredded to all hell. Like I was like, holy shit! Like when she came out, I was like, what? She looks like she could cut somebody. That's how sharp. That's how shredded she is.
Her in ring has gotten exponentially better in the last 6 months too.
Like it's very noticeable how short she is. Like she must be like 4'10", because she's not big. Like she's not tall, but she is like, I'm glad they stopped calling her a pit bull. I'm wondering where the rest of American Alpha are, because I like the Creed brothers. I would like to see them. I hope they've not put them on the shelf next to the Street Profits. But yeah, Ivy Nile she was awesome. Lyra was awesome. Asuka was awesome. Kyrie was awesome with her. Like I already talked about, the walkaway move. Bailey winning was what I want. Warmed my heart. Everybody knows that I'm the biggest Bailey mark in existence. I fucking love Bailey, and she won. I hope she doesn't get jobbed out on Monday. That would feel ineffective. But I think all of that was really put together well. It was given plenty of time. Everybody got the chance to shine. Loved it.
Yeah, no arguments here. That was also my match of the week. Really enjoy a good gauntlet match, especially when it's well put together like that one was. So yeah.
It was all killer, no filler. It was like they dropped an EP, and it was like 2 really good new songs and a really good cover, and it was just fucking amazing. That's how it felt.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, if you're still hanging out with us, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate it. You can check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. Always fun when we get together.